Hello there and welcome back to The Closet Historian, where today I have a little bit of a summer 2021 mini haul for you all. I don't have a ton of things to show you, but these are the things I picked up vintage shopping in person and thrifting this past summer. I haven't had a lot of luck with thrifting, but I did find a couple of items, so I'll show you those. And then I actually went out to see Denver's mid-century modern show that they had here in Denver recently, so I'll talk a little bit about that and show you some footage from that fair out and about as well. So let's go ahead and jump on into that footage now. Hello there, here's me in the car. This mid-century modern market was actually held in an old hangar as part of an aviation museum, so that was pretty cool. But it was rather on the small side. They didn't have much clothing or accessories, a lot more furniture, and the fair in general was just smaller than I was expecting, so there wasn't a huge amount to look through. They did have some vintage cars outside, as well as the vintage tiny planes that made me much more nervous to ever fly in one of these, because they do look like a tin can with wings a little bit, but very Indiana Jones and fun. And they did have a few more booths set out outside with some vintage campers to look in as well. And as for the items I picked up at the mid-century modern little fair there, like I said, they didn't have a ton of clothing booths, but I did spot this handbag sitting on a table. And again, we all know how I like mini box bags right now. It's kind of my current, vintage collecting obsession. I'm really into these little box bags. And this color of cognac finished leather actually matches a pair of short riding boots I bought for a couple of rides I may be going on this summer. So I thought, since this matched my boots so well, and I have tall boots that I wore for some of my Jedi looks here in the past that are, again, a similar color leather to this, so this might work well with all of those. This does say it's from Clifton's Genuine Leather, and the only Clifton's I know of is that themed restaurant in LA, in Hollywood. So I'm wondering if they ever had a gift shop with rough and ready things that this could be from. If anyone knows if Clifton's ever sold accessories, the one that I'm thinking of, if I am thinking of that correctly. I've never been there, but I've heard of it, and for some reason this feels like something that they could have sold there, so I'm wondering if there is a connection there. But I thought the sort of Art Deco mixed with Art Nouveau, sort of geometric and Art Nouveau detailing on this was so pretty. I loved the little twist brass handle here. And again, this little box shapes, I'm just so into them lately. And the lining's in pretty good condition. Still has a little zipper pocket in here with a metal zipper. Another telltale way to know if something is true vintage is if it has a metal zipper as opposed to a plastic zipper, because they weren't using nylon zippers back in the 40s and early half of the 50s. But I was super pleased to pick up this little handbag. This one was $18, and it's in really good condition, so I thought that was a great deal. And then the other item I picked up at the Mid-Century Modern Fair was this jacket. I'll jump over to the modeling footage here. This is not a Pendleton 49er, despite what it looks like. It does look like a Pendleton 49er. It is a copycat of a Pendleton 49er from a different brand. Here you can see the label here, but this is definitely a Pendleton 49er in style, a style of jacket that was released in, that's right, 1949. These sort of boxy jackets, usually with these two pockets in the front here. Usually the darts are up by the shoulder, and they have these shell or plastic looking shell buttons. I do have another Pendleton, an actual Pendleton 49er in my collection as well, that I'm not sure I've shown any of on here ever before, so I think I got it in 2020. So here is my actual Pendleton 49er as well, just because I've never shown it on here. And funny enough, they are in similar colorways. It's almost like a light version and a dark mode version, and I'm really happy to have both of these shirts, jackets. They're kind of like a lightweight jacket or a very heavyweight shirt. They are wool. They are a tiny bit itchy, but I don't really mind. I don't have a wool allergy or anything like that. I think these are such a classic piece, and I love them belted, and I'm going to be taking both of them with me on my trip, though we'll see if it ever actually gets cold enough. Maybe in the night in the desert. Well, we'll have to see if it ever actually gets chilly enough to wear them. I think I picked this up from a store called Anaconda Vintage, so I'll try and see if I can find them on Instagram maybe and link them below. If so, I think they were visiting from out of state for that fair. I don't recall, so I'll try and put their details down below if I can find them. And then another vintage fair that happens here in Colorado, usually during the summer months, is something called Paris Street Fair Market. They have them at a couple of different malls around South Denver area. So look up Paris Street Fair Market if you're in the area, or if you're driving through Denver and you happen to be here on the first or third Saturday of the month, I think is when they are. But I usually try and go at least a couple times every year. And this time I felt very lucky to have found, again, another box purse. Like I said, I am all about these box shaped purses right now. This is kind of a light nutmeg brown, taupey kind of brown color in a fabric. It's not even a faux suede. It's just kind of like a very smooth fabric. It almost feels like a nylon too. I'm not sure if this one's from the 50s. Let's see what the brand name inside is. I haven't even looked. Jenny, New York, and Paris. So Jenny brand, but it's very good condition inside, especially for something that, again, is probably from the late 1940s to the mid 1950s. It's, again, just super cute and a nice neutral that would pair good with, like, I can see this with like a dark red dress or green as this being the accent color for that. If you had gloves or things like that that matched, would be nice. So I was very happy to pick this one up. This one was $20, I remember, and because it's in such really good, clean condition, I thought that was a great deal for a bag that is, like, you know, older than my own dad. Then also at that same market this summer, I picked up this 1930s or 40s kind of deco moon and stars brooch. I just thought this was very cute. I fell for the kitschy, almost sort of space theme, because we all know how I like kind of outer space, celestial themed jewelry, and vintage even better. This one was only $15 and it just caught my eye. I thought it was very pretty. It would look so nice like on plain solid black perhaps. So that's what I intend on wearing it with in the future. And then after I left that vintage market, one of the days I felt disappointed in what was available at the market, so I went antiquing afterwards, and I went to my favorite antique mall where I happened to find, wait for it, another box purse, this time in a black faux patent leather. I don't think this is real leather, with brass sides and clasp and just black kind of split interior. No zipper pocket on this one, no labeling of any kind either. I'm not sure when this is from. This could be from as late as the 1980s really, because I think they re-released, you know, kitschy kind of bags, especially in shiny black like this, but I assume this one is from the 50s or 60s. That's my best guess, I would say, but I could imagine it being as late as the 80s too. Again, the exact decade of things never really matters to me. The look and how I'll be able to incorporate it into an outfit is what matters to me. But this seems a little bit kind of 50s space age, the little handle on here, or the clasp on here. Just a kiss lock style box handbag in black patent, which of course matches everything and is a super neutral in my wardrobe. I have black patent shoes and like shiny gloves and a belt that I can wear this with because I like to match not only the color of my accessories, but also the finish often. Apparently this was just the summer of box bags, finding box bags out and about for under $20. So I'm not going to resist when that kind of magic happens. It's just something I happened to be looking for anyway, so to be able to find 3 of them this summer seems like some strange, weird luck that was going on there, but I'm happy to have all 3 in my collection now. And then on to a couple of thrifted items, things I picked up at the thrift store this summer, including this very, very pretty Oscar de la Renta scarf here in this dark plum and green and gray and gold. I always love being able to find, you know, Oscar de la Renta silk scarves for 99 cents at the thrift store. It's the kind of deal you just can't beat, you know, and we all know I just can't resist them. That's why I have so many silk scarves, is because I do always find them for such a bargain. I don't really have enough purple in my wardrobe, so I was very happy to find this. And then the other silk scarf that I found that same day was this kind of taupey brown, nutmeggy colored silk scarf in a nice large size that I thought would be a good pairing for the handbag, you know? I thought this was the same day, and I was like, I'm gonna grab that silk scarf, again, for like 50 cents, because it was a Saturday, and the things at the thrift store I go to are 50% off on Saturday, so instead of 99 cents, this was like 50 cents for a silk scarf. Again, the edges are fraying a tiny bit, but I don't mind. But I thought I could wear these two together, like this tucked into a suit with this handbag, you know? I just thought that was a great coincidence, and again, we know how I like matching accessories, so now I just need like a fawn, kind of light nutmeg, sort of colored shoe, and then I'd really be good to go. So I'll keep an eye out for that. But as for clothes that I found out thrifting, this summer has been really kind of, I've only been back to the thrift store, I should say, 3 or 4 times, just because I waited until I was fully vaccinated before I went back out shopping again. And I still wear my mask when I'm at the thrift store, because if I'm going to be in any enclosed space for longer than half an hour, I try and wear a mask. But I found a couple of things. One is a little bit tight, but I'll show you that in a minute. This first thing is just a like kind of chambray, grayish, bluish button down, very practical shirt from The Gap. I thought this would be good to pack for my trip, would be good for like going on hikes, or looking a little bit like a train engineer or something like that while I was out there in the Old West. So we'll see if I end up wearing this and styling it in that way, but I think it's just a good practical shirt to have in my wardrobe, again, for a couple of dollars. And then the last time I was at the thrift store, I picked up a couple of shirts, but it ended up that like 3 out of the 4 didn't end up fitting me, so they'll be going to my shop eventually. There was a really cute plaid one too that I really wanted to like wear with high-waisted denim in the mountains, but sadly it did not fit me. But this one almost fits me. It is a little bit small on me. This is just a gingham shirt from Talbot's, of all places, but it has this little tie front that I thought was fun, and again I thought would make a really cute retro outfit. It would look so good with my black cigarette pants, for example, but also like any skirt or jeans. but it is a little bit small on me, so we'll see if I end up keeping it. Hopefully I can make it work, but if not, then it will eventually be going into my shop. I'll try and probably do a restock once I get back from my trip, in case I find any more thrifted finds out there on the road that I want to put in the shop too. But that's it really for thrifted finds. Again, I haven't had a ton of luck thrifting out there this past summer, but I have had more luck almost with vintage at vintage fairs and things like that. So I do try and go to those events when I can, so I can try and see what's out there in the vintage market, even though the prices do tend to be a little bit higher. I found some good bargains this summer, but that's not always the case. And now I'm on my way to go to places like Palm Springs and Las Vegas, where the vintage is priced much more for the collector's market. So we'll see if I end up actually picking anything up and coming home with anything. If I find stuff out there on the road, do let me know if you'd like to see another haul after I get back. I have made a lot of things to wear on this trip, saw a lot of things kind of off camera to wear. So let me know if you'd like to see all of that when I get back too. But for now, as you're watching this, I'm probably in the middle of nowhere, so hopefully I will get back to you in one piece. Thank you all, as always, for putting up with another little show and tell from me. I know it wasn't a lot of stuff this time, but I've had more luck at the vintage fairs than out thrifting so far this year. Maybe that'll pick up for fall, I'm not quite sure. They don't seem to have a lot of the button-down shirts and blouses out yet, so maybe once I get back from my trip, they will have restocked the thrift stores with new merchandise and I'll have a little bit more luck. But thank you, as always, for watching this video today, and I will see you again here real soon. Bye.